Good evening, everyone. I'm a little early today, and but I see that there's people waiting there to already for the live stream. It's going to be a bit shorter today, probably just over half an hour or so. I don't want to drag it on for too long tonight. So I've got a few things to do later on. Uh, Truth over falsehoods that looks a little pale. Afternoon crypto shrugged author. So I'm just going to wait a little bit because I'm a little early. I just want to talk about what's going on in the markets, in economics, geopolitics. Of course, this week is going to be important again for the markets. We're going to see the FOMC meeting. It's held over 2 days. It's going to be on Tuesday and Wednesday. And it's one of the important meetings where they have the press conference. Even though they're having press conferences every meeting now, this is the one where they make the economic projections. So I think it's going to be important, this meeting. Hi, Savio. Nice to see you. Hi, Rick. Hi, Newbie. Newbie, hello from Southern California. I'm seeking 35 ounces of gold to buy rental property. Do you mean you're selling? Yes, selling. Sorry, I didn't see the. Okay, you're selling gold to buy property. Well, I mean, if you have to live somewhere, I'm not sure if it's as an investment, but yeah, gold is only a store of wealth, and it is money, of course. And sometimes holding, having exchanging that for another asset is something to do. Well, he's doing it as an investment. Good evening, Sanjit. Nice to see you here. So let's get to some of the stuff that I've seen in the news and that I've noticed. Maybe some of you watched my video yesterday about the bond markets, how I think it's pointing to a recession in the economy in the U.S., but also all around the world. I remember 2 or 3 years ago, the mainstream was talking about a global synchronous recovery. I think what we're going to get is a definite global synchronous slowdown. Labook 84, what else can I hold beside precious metals? That's for you to decide. The only thing about precious metals, monetary wise, is that it has its track record. You can hold US dollars if you want, Federal Reserve notes or other fiat currencies. That's up to you. But personally, with the way the banking system is set up, nothing has been done to the banks. The regulatory, how can I say, picture hasn't improved. And I think if there is another crisis, the banks are going to be in danger. FDIC doesn't cover. FDIC works when it's only a small bank that fails. But if it's a systemic, how can I say, systemic risk or systemic crisis, FDIC won't pay. So can you please explain gold price fixing? Well, gold price fixing is just something that they've done for, I think, about 100 years now. It started in 1919. So they just get together twice a day in London. And the major market makers, the bullion banks, they try to find a price where they can match bids and offer. And that's all it is. It has nothing to do with the manipulation of the gold price that many people talk about. It's just a way of having a settlement for the price of gold, mainly because gold just trades all the time. It doesn't have. It's not like the stock market that opens at 9:30 and closes at let's say 4 o'clock in New York. So where you have the settlement. So as gold, spot, physical gold trades 24/7 everywhere in the world, they try to have a fixing. That's, in my opinion, what it is. Has there been manipulation during the fixing with the futures? Yes. But basically, that's what it is. The major bullion banks getting together and finding a price where they match bids and offers. And who uses this fixing? Well, a lot of the miners, jewelers, scrap dealers, they use that AM fixing or the PM fixing. Gary Evans, hi Gary from Bedfordshire. Buy long shelf life food and fuel. Annabelle Franks, I've moved some money into premium bonds, although not sure how safe this is. Do you have any thoughts? Well, premium bonds, Billy just walked in the room. Premium bonds are supposedly guaranteed by the UK government. So I think, they are safe, but they are in pounds. The UK government and the Bank of England, they can always print the money to pay you off. Premium bonds are special because there's like a element of luck. You could put a 500 pounds in a premium bond and win 20,000. So yeah, it's something that there's not a problem with having it. I don't have any. I think I had some years ago. I think my daughter got some when she was little. I think my mother-in-law gave her some premium bonds, but yeah. So it's guaranteed. It's National Savings is a government entity. Oh, you're welcome. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't read Arabic, but you're welcome. You asked about the gold fixing. Fine art and collectibles, yeah, they're good. I think some fine watches as well. The only problem with those kinds of tangible assets is that they're not very marketable during a deep recession or depression, when people, you might not be able to sell it very easily, as easily as gold and silver. Ken Samotiuk, gold just popped almost 3% and silver popped almost 17% over the weekend. Really? I haven't seen that. I thought gold was closed right now, but I'm not sure where you're looking. I mean, right now it's 8 p.m. London, which is, and I think the market will only open in a couple of hours, the futures market. Savio, what does this April 1st gold value balance? No, I think there's been a lot of talk about this. I don't think there's anything really to Basel III, as I said in previous videos, because people have asked about it. It's going to be implemented from, it's been implemented over like 10 years or more. And there's nothing really, gold was already, the Basel III and the BIS pointed out at beginning of 2016 that gold was going to become a 0% risk asset, just like cash in the bank. So Basel III is not delayed as well. Basel III has been implemented since 2012. The final implementation will happen in 2022 or 2021. So it's an ongoing process. I think a lot of people have jumped the gun. They've seen a story about the RBI, which is the Central Bank of India, who, they've had to push some Indian banks to be compliant with Basel III, with some of the aspects of Basel III by March 29th. Or the end of March 2019. So some people have caught on to that story and they've said, oh, the whole world has to be compliant by March 31st. No, it's just something that happened with the Indian banking system. So this Basel III story has just been overhyped, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that gold won't be important again, but I don't think you should buy too much into this. Sanjit, what's your opinion on nationalized banks? I have real estate, 4 houses, gold, diamonds, and also around 400,000 pounds in banks in India owned by the government. Well, so you have pounds, or do you have, rupees. I'm not sure. Nationalized banks, I mean, I guess, are they as, I don't think they're as safe as, any safer than normal private banks. So I don't really know too much about the Indian banking system. If you spread out that money over different accounts, if there's a guarantee. I mean, RBS in the UK is 2/3 owned by, is basically a nationalized bank, but it doesn't mean it can't fail. So I would be careful. That's my feeling. Hi, Universal Vibes. Nice to see you. Havoc's Horst. What do you think about the German banks merger? Yeah, I saw. It's been going on for the last few weeks. I saw a week or so ago that Deutsche Bank didn't want to go through with it, but the latest headline I saw, it looks like it's going to go forward. Deutsche Bank and Commerzbank. Well, I think it's a way of keeping Deutsche Bank alive, I guess. So I think the German banking system, though, is fairly safe. Even there's a lot of small banks in Germany, and the majority of deposits are held in those small banks. I think they're called the Landesbanks, or even also Raiffeisen banks. So it's probably just trying to keep Deutsche Bank going for a little longer. I'm not sure about Commerzbank, how well they're doing. Good interview you did with Mike from Rethinking the Dollar. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I like Mike from RTD. We had a nice talk. SDZ86 or SDZ. In the UK, they say Z. In the US, they say Z. Can you explain how investment banks take advantage of situations like the plane crash with Boeing, for instance? Well, I'm not sure they take advantage of it. Maybe, yeah, I'm not really sure. I would say maybe traders sometimes, if they happen by accident to be short the Boeing stock, they might do well. But I'm not sure, that they can take advantage of it. Investment banks. All right. So, what other things have I seen that I think is quite interesting? Um, well, I see that there's a story on Zero Hedge and I'll give you guys a link here. It says Trump again threatens Europe with tariffs, expect instant global recession. So I think that's another threat there. I don't think all these tariffs that Trump is imposing, if anything, is having the negative, inverse, is having the inverse effect that he wants. The trade deficit is growing. It's almost hitting like $1 trillion now, the U.S. trade deficit, because a lot of countries are actually putting more tariffs in the U.S. because the U.S. is putting tariffs on them. I think the only thing that would solve these global trade and current account imbalances. There's someone there that I need to get rid of, remove. We don't want that. Okay. Well, yeah, I think that trade imbalances are a symptom of the fiat money system, because if you Google U.S. trade deficit history and then go images, you see that before the 1970s, it was hugging zero balance. And then with the fiat money system, there's a lot of cheating, a lot of, and the U.S. being the reserve currency of the world and petrodollar status, they could, they can spend they can print the money and not have to worry about the deficits because foreigners have to hold dollars. But I think that's getting that exorbitant privilege is coming to an end. I don't know when, but it's very close, in my opinion. It's not decades; it's more like years, in my opinion. And going back to some kind of monetary standard, gold standard, silver standard, uh, worldwide, that would solve the problem, in my opinion, of these trade imbalances. But of course, people around the world have to want that. There has to be political will for that kind of system. No is back. Hi, Lord Humongous. Water Shambles is here. Kiro Mihailov is here. Yeah, Lord Humongous, if you want to be a moderator, I don't mind. Do I need to make you a moderator? Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I've added you as a moderator. Oh, Lord Humongous, thanks for that. Banks are stealing money with positive interest rates. Well, I think you could have positive nominal interest rates, and you're actually losing money if you put, if inflation is 4% and you're only getting 1%, you're losing 3% every year. Jeff is in sunny Florida. Well, Jeff, I was watching the golf today from Florida. Even though it's in northern Florida, it was rainy and cold over there. So you must be in South Florida. Chris Varga, Mario, I was wondering if we could have some more socialism is throttling the country jumpers. Is that finished, that campaign? I haven't looked. I will put it back on the Teespring store. Thanks for letting me know. Kiro says America's economy is shrinking. Hi, S. Walker. Nice to see you here. Yeah, I think a lot of economies are shrinking in real terms. The only sector of the economies in the Western world that are really doing well are those sectors close to the financial system, to the financial markets, to finance, maybe property, real estate, still insurance, investments. That's about it. The rest is like has been in the depression for over a decade now. Mama Bill, good morning from Melbourne. Thank you, Mama Bill 777. So how many? We got 105. It's not bad. I mean, I don't do live streams. I do maybe once a week. But money printing always doing well. Yeah, that's right. And the other thing as well is that if one understands the fractional reserve system, you can see how the banks are actually, they're actually being using usury. Their rates are much higher than they actually look, because if you have a pound in deposit, but you can lend 10 times and get 5%, it's almost like lending at 50%, isn't it? So they are loan sharks, really. The fractional reserve system makes the banks loan sharks. That's why I laugh when people criticize actual loan sharks out there who actually only lend the money they have for 20%, because the banks and credit card companies are probably leveraging so much more. Equinox is due next week, and some people think that it affects social mood and stocks. Yeah, I mean, some people look at the moon phases as well, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see for that. I think the for those of you who might not have heard in the beginning, I was talking about, there's the Fed meeting this week. I know I criticize central banks a lot, but for better, for worse, right now, what they decide is very important. I think it's going to be an important meeting. It's a 2-day meeting, and Wednesday is when they come out with the announcement. I don't think they're going to hike, but it will be important to see what they say about, going forward, about rate hikes and also the balance sheet. Kevin Johnson, any thoughts on the current conflict in Israel? Did you see possible war in the future to blame the economic collapse? Kevin, yeah, I saw some headlines. I think it was Friday when that event happened in New Zealand. I saw that they were bombing the occupied territories. I think, I'm not sure, but we've been talking about wars. This last 10 years. Oh, war with Iran, World War III, Russia. But actually, I'm not sure we can have a war anymore right now, because if you look at the debt to GDP or national debt chart of the U.S. historic, we're at levels that correspond to fighting a war. So I think it would be very difficult to fight a war with the amount of debt that we have, the whole world. So I'm not sure. There's a guy who does cycles. He says the war cycle, if we don't have a war in the next year or two, then we won't have a huge war. I think it's a guy, I forgot his name, but he's on Greg Hunter once in a while. He's a Dutch guy who looks at cycles. So I'm not sure about war. Bar-wise, yeah, war is a distraction, but I think we've got so many distractions right now that they don't need war. Hi, David Morsilli. Nice to see you here. Carl M. Brexit betrayal. Well, it's not sure yet. We could still have a Brexit, a no-deal Brexit, because legally, that's what one of the two options. One option is a deal, and the other option is a no deal. And they did vote in Parliament a motion to take no deal off the table, but they don't have the legal right to do that. I think it's going to be important now. I think Theresa May is going to have another vote this week, and then on another deal, and she's trying to push the Brexiteers into voting for that deal, and saying that if you don't vote for this, you will never have Brexit. But so we'll have to see. I think all along she's just been trying to do what she's doing. She's done it on purpose, because the establishment doesn't want this country leaving the EU. Hey, Pablo, Billy's right behind me, actually. I started the live stream, and he was in the other room, and he came, and I think he saw that I was doing the live stream. Yeah, Annabelle, that's Charles Nenner. That's right. Yeah, Lord Humongous. I saw that they had week 18 of the yellow vests, and it was pretty bad. I didn't look closely at it, but I saw some headlines that there's a lot of the protest was pretty bad yesterday. So Macron is he can't ignore this forever. Kiro, who's investing in U.S. debt? Well, there's a huge derivatives market for Treasuries, and people buy, futures. And you might ask, of course, you get you do get, compared to the other major bond markets. In Germany, you get like just over 0% for the 10-year Bund. In the UK, you're getting 1%. In Japan, you're getting negative rates. So in the US, you're still getting 2.6. That's why, it still seems attractive. But as Catherine Austin Fitts said, she wouldn't touch treasuries with a barge pole. But in the short term, speculators make a lot of money in the bond market. It's the biggest and most liquid financial market in the world, the bond markets. Hey, Inner Dinosaur, nice to see you. S. Walker, yeah, I saw Mark Faber did an interview with Greg Hunter. I want to listen to that later on. I like Mark Faber is an interesting guy. Hey, Rainbird, watch the ads. Thanks. Will Basel III happen? No, as I said about Basel III, there's been a lot of questions. I think this is like someone hyped up this date. I don't think anything's going to happen special for gold on that date. The BIS already announced in 2016 that gold was becoming a zero risk asset, just like cash in the bank. What's happening, I think, at the end of March is that the Indian Central Bank, the RBI, is supposed to implement some measures for their banking system because their banking system is falling behind the implementation of Basel III. Basel III is a process. It started in 2012, Basel III, the new rules, and it's going to go all the way until 2027. So I think a lot has been yeah, someone's hyped up this story, and it's just a story to do with India. I know that I think in 2019, by January 2019, some of the Basel III rules and some of the had to be implemented. So yeah, I wouldn't put too much credence or too much weight into that. Mortgage fraud, yeah, rampant around the world. I think all kinds of fraud are rampant around the world. That's the problem with the fiat money system. It's a fraudulent monetary system. So if the people who run our, who are responsible for our monetary system, for our political system, if they're corrupt and fraudulent, that's going to seep through. It's going to there's going to be corruption all around. Unfortunately. Jim Rogers, yeah, he's Michael's asking about Jim Rogers. I've listened to him for a while. I mean, I think one thing he's been right on is and I've listened to him for over 10 years, and I know he moved to Singapore to be close to China. He even taught his children Chinese. He's right about the fact that China is going to be very important, and the 21st century will be the century of China economically. But he's not right all the time. I think 10, 15 years ago he did start his commodity fund in the late 90s, early 2000s, which was a good time because there's a commodity bull market till like 2010, 2011. But I think so in the last few years we haven't seen that continue. Kirill says if you can lose money in gold, you can lose in anything. Well, the thing is, you don't really lose. Gold is money, so the only way you can lose money if you have gold is if you lose your gold. That's because that's like saying, yeah. So I don't get that. You can lose. I think what you mean, you can lose in terms of fiat, but you can only lose gold or silver if you lose it, if you misplaced it. I'm going to put another link here to another interesting piece of research that I think is interesting, and it's about not just gold and silver, but the stock markets, and is by a guy called Ron Rosen, and he's been in the markets for like since the 1950s. He's an older guy, And so I thought you guys might find this interesting. I recommend this. I read this this weekend. Yeah, Lord Humongous, that's right. I mean, that's the problem with our financial system is that the that cannot be discharged. When you had a gold standard and based on sound money, commodity money, you can discharge debts. You can pay the debts. But you look at the, you look at the your Federal Reserve note or the Bank of England note, it still says here, I promise to pay the bearer the sum of £10 on demand. This is a non-redeemable banknote. And that's why the system is so screwed up, because it's based on fraud. If we try to do that, if we owed someone something and we just wrote it on a piece of paper, John, I promise to pay you, give you back those apples I borrowed, I took from you. And then he came back and said, where are my apples? And he said, no, I don't have them. I'll just give you another promise. He wouldn't be very happy. And that's what the system is now. Carl has cryptos. I have cryptos as well. Not as much as I have precious metals. I think cryptos are long term, and I think the technology is interesting. Blockchain, I think it's going to be very important for the internet. It's not there yet, but I think it will. Furkan Fidan, could you live with Bitcoin as global reserve currency? Or gold standard the only system would you accept? Well, I would accept whatever the market through there, but unfortunately, the sovereign governments seem to be still in charge. The only reason I always talk about gold and silver is because they've had a track record of 5,000 years. Sorry, they've had a track record. I'm just going to do something here. Hold on. Taking the phone off the hook. They've had a track record of 5,000 years, but I'm a free market guy, even for money. So I would accept Bitcoin or something else as money or as a standard. It would have to be at a much higher price, though, because there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoins ever mined. Yeah, Kevin, I've seen that US stat clock, those numbers for gold and silver. I'm not sure, if it's significant. In the end of the day, I know the market is manipulated in precious metals. The price of, in fiat dollars that you will get is the price that you get. You can do whatever kind of calculation you want where it should be, but Alfredo Washington, have you seen YouTube video of William Stewart, The Secret History of International Banking Mafia? No, I haven't. I haven't seen that. Someone asked a question earlier and I hadn't seen. I saw it. Oh yeah, it's Ricky Jarecki. Sorry, Ricky, I didn't see your question. Sometimes I miss questions. Loads of people on YouTube have been saying end of the world is imminent financially. They have been saying this for years. What's your opinion? Well, I don't think they're, the financial system, the monetary system is man-made, and I think it's a system that's won't be able to go on forever because it's based on debt, and we've got so much debt that it will have to correct that debt. But I don't think the world ends. I grew up in Brazil, and we had like different currencies collapse, and things still went on. I think there's a lot of scaremongering, but so that's how I look at it. Okay, I'm gonna take a few more questions, and I'll do a few more minutes here. I'm gonna end this live stream in about 4 minutes today. So uh, yeah, niche 586. The yield curve is inverting, like 1 year to 7 years inverted right now. That isn't a good sign. You're right, and I think we're probably already in a recession. Uh, Even though people are not saying it. I think in '08, in the beginning of 2008, right in the heart of the crisis, Ben Bernanke, who was Fed chairman at the time, actually said that the US economy wouldn't go into recession, and that the economy was going to keep growing. Yeah, I will say hi to Annabelle. Annabelle, that's my daughter's name. Yeah, I'll do a few more minutes. Anyone's got more questions. This is shorter than usual, this live stream, but just over half an hour. I think the Yellow Jackets, they're winning right now. I saw that yesterday. It was pretty bad. The the protests at week 18. They're not giving up. Oh, the other thing I wanted to tell people is that there's another interesting article on Zero Hedge. Italy courting China is a masterstroke of chaos. So yeah, and I think Italian government officials are meeting I think it's the president of China this year, and it looks like Trump is not very happy. That's the other thing I wanted to note is that the American establishment, and I include Trump in this, they seem to have a death wish towards the dollar, because if they want to keep the dollar as a reserve currency, I think they should be cooperating with every country in the world, but they don't. It's the American mentality is you do as I say, and if you don't, I'm going to put sanctions on you. So I think that's why I also think the dollar is not going to disappear, but it's going to be a lot less important, because more and more countries are going to look for alternatives. All right, everyone, thank you for showing up here, and yeah, if any of you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe if you if you want to, of course. And I will be, of course, making a video tomorrow. And I wish you all a great rest of the weekend, or a great Monday if you're like in Australia or New Zealand. Take care, everyone. Thanks again. Bye.